it's Kari Mathews of Prairie Quilting. Today we are plugging along on our Lamb That I Love Quilt Along, and we are working on star 9. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you, we're on the bottom row now, okay? So it is right down here, that star right there. The pattern is available through my website, prairiequilting.com. So if you haven't got it yet, go ahead and join in. You can join in at any time and gather your fabrics. I used a whole bunch of Venertex fabrics, and we have American Valor by Cheryl Haynes, and that's the pretty red tonal there. We have Red, White, and Sweet by Nicole DeCamp, and that's our blue plaid and our gingham and our stars. And then we have some more stars by Celebrate the USA by Canvas Studio, and then Liberty Whites for the background as well. So let's get started. But first, our question of the day. So how do you like to dress for the 4th of July? I am a simple gal, so I like to wear either a t-shirt or a tank top, probably a tank top if I have the, a good color. And red, white, and blue stripes. I love stripes, so that would be my favorite outfit to wear. So I want to hear what yours is, and I'd love to see your block. So go ahead and post that in our Instagram hashtag, Lamb That I Love, QAL, or right here, one here. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, for star 9, we're going to be making some half square triangle units. So we're going to start with some red stars and these white stars here. So I like to, assembly line when I can. Okay, so it's this blue plaid and the white star. Okay. And we're going to draw diagonal lines, and then we'll sew a 1/4 inch from both sides of the line. Okay, sometimes I like to mark the edges. It just makes it so it doesn't get distorted. I love all the different stars in this quilt. It's just fun to play with a whole bunch of stars. All right, and then we'll turn around and we'll come back the other side. We're going to just cut on that line, okay? And it doesn't have to be exactly a 1/4 inch away because we've already accounted for the seam allowance. So we're just separating these half square triangle units. Okay, let's go ahead and press. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and press toward the dark. Okay, and I like to give it a top press and then just peel back, and I leave whatever the color I'm going to press toward on the top. Just makes it easier. All right, we're going to go ahead and just clip the corners here. Okay, so we are making a pinwheel for the center of this block, and we're going to go ahead and it's basically a 4-patch. And because we pressed those toward the red, they are nesting seams. So let's go ahead and pin those. Okay, and same with this. All right, give that a pin. Let's go ahead and sew. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go toward the red for both of those. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and connect up those two halves. So we'll put a pin, and I'm feeling for that nesting. There we go. Let's sew. Okay, and it doesn't matter which way you go on this pinwheel. Okay, so now we're going to be making flying geese units, and we're doing this with 1/4 square triangles and half square triangles here. All right, so first we're going to go ahead and put the blue on. And so I'm just matching up my white quarter square triangles here with this blue. Okay, and we're going to match up the sides here and then these corners. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and press, and I'm going to press toward the blue. Okay. Like to give it a top press, and then just wherever I'm headed, have that on the top. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and clip the corners off. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put our red side on our flying geese. Okay, so we'll match that up on the top here. Okay, let's go ahead and sew. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and press toward the red. So give it a top press and go toward the red. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and clip off these corners. We're just getting rid of all the bulk that we can. All right, so now we have our half square triangle units. We have our flying geese units and our fun pinwheel center. So let's go ahead and finish the block. Now we have basically a 9 patch laid out here. So we're gonna go ahead and connect these up. Okay, so there's no intersecting seams here. So let's go ahead and just do that. And I'm gonna put a pin in this and try to aim for the center on that. Okay, and there we go. Let's go ahead and sew. Okay, so we'll connect up these last blocks in each row now. Okay, so put those up there, and then I'm finding the center on this again. So we'll just kind of center it and then peel that back. And that's pretty close there. Okay, and do you see how this top piece is a little smaller than the bottom piece? So when that happens, I like to sew with the bottom and the top, or the larger on the bottom, and then that eases the fabric in a bit for me. Okay, so I'm sewing that center piece here, and I'm just kind of scooching this top there. I'm matching them up, okay, and then the other part will just kind of ease in. So here we go. And get through that pin, and then I'm going to go ahead and take this bottom piece and kind of try to match it up a little bit too with the bottom edge, and just kind of hold it together. Okay, and to press, I'm going to go ahead and do the top and bottom. I'm going to basically go away from the flying geese for all of these sections. Okay, so toward the side blocks here, the half square triangles. And then we'll go toward the center, so toward that pinwheel for this other section. All right, so I have my 9 patch laid out my rows, and we're gonna go ahead and start connecting. So let's put the top 2 together here. And I'm nesting those seams, okay? Okay, and then for the center, we're gonna go ahead and try to center that again. It's pretty good. We'll go ahead and put a pin. Okay, and we are gonna sew our last seam here. So we'll go ahead and nest those seams again here where those blocks are. All right, and to press, we're gonna go toward the center. Okay, there we go. Okay, there is star 9. All right, we finished our block, and I'd love to see your version and hear how you like to dress up for the 4th of July. So post that in our hashtag Lamb That I Love QAL on Instagram or here in the comments. All right, take care, and we'll see you next time.